Crowded closets, cluttered shelves, and hurried hands demand more attention than all the grains of sand. As time passes and new days land, time collects dust on the ceiling fan.
Motion to motion, try to swing with the truce. You know, maybe we cruise through too many grooves. Don't it feel good to spin a new move? See what scatters when the grit gets smooth, gets to the wind.
Time flies or time lies. What do or did you decide? Collections of clutter, hordes of trash. What became of the one who was built to last?
How could something that spins so wild, wobbling loose in the highest style, stay so still? This dead skin and risen residue is clinging for dear life. Fingernail scratches, clenched down teeth. You gotta free that shit, clean that shit, and get yourself free.
The first real time I talked to my inner child, he held way too much anger against me. He had these emotions I couldn't understand. See, it was like he spoke a different language and there was this disconnect. And we didn't know where all this stuff came from, and I couldn't see, only feel. So how am I to know what's real, what's me, and what's the child, what's the pain, and what's the trauma?
Yo, greetings and good vibes, everybody. It's your guy, John Tell, back with another episode, joined with the girl, Meg.
What's up? Live from the Nut House.
You already know. Pandemonium. That's what we got. What's going on with Meg? How you doing today?
I am doing great. I was digging that music. I don't even know what the title of that is, but that's Love for sure. Again,
that is yes, by Circumstantial Saint, aka Munoz. I'm not even gonna lie. That is Dust on a Ceiling fan.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, I fucking love you. It's talking about digging into the deepest parts of you and getting that shit out, clearing the air. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what life's all about. We gotta shake it up, do a little something different. Today we're just going to recap some stuff and get into some news real quick. Just shoot the shit with y'all. Touch base, and then you're welcome to comment in the comments, and we'll touch base with you later. But if you're looking at the screen, that is the grave of Ricardo Miguel Munoz, who was shot and killed September 13th of 2020, and the other day was the 2-year anniversary of his murder. And so I went with the family to Harrisburg to speak on behalf of mental health and hospitals, and
that was powerful. That was I heard Rue Lennis speak, and it gave me goosebumps. It's so sad that this officer is yet to be charged, and it's okay to the DA that he shot and killed an innocent person with mental health issues. Granted, he was in a mental health crisis. This is why we have to fight ambulances and mental health professionals to be the first responders to calls like this, so this does not keep happening. We see it over and over again. We just seen actually another thing today about somebody calling 911 for help and them shooting and killing the person on arrival. Mm-hmm. Stand up, America.
For real.
It's time.
The speech was really powerful, coming from Rulenis, who has been wanting to get up and speak like this for 2 years on behalf of her son. And if you've been listening to our webisodes or checking out our podcast on Spotify, we did do an interview with Rulenis about this very topic preceding the rally that they held. And there was like a whole bunch of different tombstones representing 20,000 people each, amounting to 1 million people that are affected by not having Medicare every year or something like that. Don't quote me. However, we went to the grave of Ricardo and planted some new flowers and tended to the grave, and just spent some time being with Ricardo and thinking of him, and having some words,
And this is so emotional. This is them replacing the flowers that was stolen from the grave. So if you hear Jontel choking up a little bit, that's why. We're not really sure why anybody would ever mess with, a dead person's flowers, especially whenever it's somebody that's loved, a brother, uncle, father, son. This is ridiculous. But, there is such thing now as cameras that you can put on graves, and we are eager to do this if that's going to be the necessary thing to do. Unfortunately, that's what it's come to.
Ricardo's two sisters. So his one sister decided to speak and say a prayer. And she spoke of having dreams that Ricardo came basically to let her know that he's okay. And he's at peace. And so she says she's okay, It's just a really emotional day.
It definitely is. And it's so sad, to note that like these families, whenever something like this happens, they're not offered any layers of support. And I'm just so thankful for you, Jontel, to be able to be there and be present with them, because that's what they need more than anything. It's stuff that money can't buy. It's just people's time and love and affection and compassion and humanity. Ricardo wasn't wrong. He had a mental health issue. He needed a help. He didn't need a death sentence. And it's good to see people like you stand behind him and beside that family and be, vigilant and, observant of who's around them and protect that space and that energy, because there is nobody out there, that does. So kudos to you, for real. I appreciate you. I love that family. They definitely did not deserve this. No, none of these families do. And, this is what we're fighting for.
I can't imagine being in their shoes. I hurt, and it hurts enough over the past year getting to know them, seeing how, from a journalist standpoint, right, and getting to know the family, you watch how life goes on and people move on. But for people affected by something such as this, it's like you're pulling a boulder along with you through life.
Right.
And it brings about a feeling that I can't necessarily describe to witness, because you don't always exactly know what to say, because sometimes it might not be enough and sometimes it might be too much. And it leaves you at a point of at a loss for words when you really want to do so much more.
Right. 100%. There was a time, and Rulinis will probably, she'll definitely clarify on this situation. She had wanted, so whenever, just to add, so we deal with, government corruption even in Lancaster. So whenever the Munoz family received the autopsy, the DA was really adamant on, Ricardo wasn't taking his medication. He wasn't, there was a lot of things Ricardo wasn't doing to the DA. So they wanted to paint that picture to Lancaster County residents first off. But the truth of the matter was they withheld the toxicology report from the family. I'm actually the one that received the toxicology and the autopsy and was able to go over it with Rulinez. And then it showed that he did have medicine in his blood. So he's not a bad person. We all need our medicine changed at one point or another. If you're on something a long time, the likelihood of it not working is very adamant. It's there. And so it's just insane. And then she called me this one day and she had requested some documentation that I didn't have. She wanted to see the bullet holes of where they hit him. And now we're talking about 4 holes in his body. That's what the autopsy report says. And she, as a mother, as a sister, as just a human, I had no words. All I could do was just be there for her and listen to her cry and tell her that I loved her. Because even myself, and doing autopsies every day, I couldn't handle that. I couldn't handle it. It was this, it's the saddest thing ever. And this is what I mean. We have to stand up for one another, love one another, and support one another because this is what we're dealing with every day.
You know,
But in
you
loving memory of Ricardo, he got this. Like he was definitely like that's why I thought it was so important that you told her yesterday. Like he's definitely smiling down on her because she's like us. She doesn't like to talk. She doesn't really necessarily like, I would be very hesitant of who to talk to and how to talk. And like you're already being judged off the, from the gate. So like it showed like impeccable strength and she's a hell of a woman. That's all I got to say. Like she's amazing and I'm so proud of her and I think Ricardo would be so proud of her as well. And those flowers are so pretty.
got me thinking of Asata now.
You will never be forgotten. Rest in peace. And that's why you hear us here every single day. Because we will scream it from the mountaintops that he was brutally murdered.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
100%.
It is our duty to win. We must love each other and support one another. We have nothing to lose but our chains. Ashe.
Right. 100%. Preach.
And it's crazy because right above my laptop, as I'm looking right now, I have a picture of Dante Wright with his son, and it's just like I'm constantly reminded of this stuff.
Yeah, they got to stop killing us. Regardless of, you know, color, where you're from, your financial status, like it does not deserve or mean that just because you're in a mental health crisis that you deserve to be killed by police. And at the end of the day, we got to fight. I mean, because just like if these are our family members, and that's what people need to realize, like fight like it was your family, because how would you want somebody fighting for you?
Right. I just want people to do their best to show their love and support for the Munoz family. Um, you can just hashtag Ricardo Munoz and express your love. You don't have to say, "Oh, I can't contact the family." Well, express your outrage, your concern, express your compassion for the loss. Anything.
Right.
It does help the family to know that. I want to
And to know
show.
that he's not forgotten. Like that's their biggest thing is like, there was protests in 2020 and there was mass outrage and there was all these people that got charged and like, $1 million bail and like, it all goes together, but it's all inhumane. Whether that be the bail, whether that be what happened to Ricardo, it's all bullshit. It's all inhumane, and it doesn't need to keep happening.
Oh my goodness, this is really emotional for me. I think this time of year is always going to end up being emotional for me, at least as long as I'm in Lancaster and blocks away from where it took place. I'm reminded all the time. I'm reminded every time I go and talk with the family. But it doesn't change the fact of that's what keeps us fighting. And if I have to relive that, it's a tiny fraction of what the family deals with.
Can we post her, or can you actually play what she said yesterday? The YouTube link that Tammy had sent me.
Yes, can you send it to me?
Yep, give me just
No
a second.
problem. Yeah, because I think that people need to hear what you had to say. I actually did record it as well, but I'm gonna put it into a podcast episode so that everyone can hear it.
It adds.
These are a few photos from
Yes, let me see
the
here.
event that we went to in Harrisburg. Ricardo's sister, one of Ricardo's sisters, and his mother and stepfather were there, along with his niece. It's Ricardo's mother, stepfather, and niece.
Oh, God love them.
Yes.
And that was quite the turnout as well. I was happy about that.
Wow, this is great quality. Well, better than I thought it would be.
Hello, everyone. My name is Munoz. I am here with People's First PA. I am Ricardo Munoz's sister. He was shot and killed by Lancaster City police 2 years ago today while suffering through a mental health crisis. I am a graduate LPN, a certified phlebotomist. I have also worked as a home health care worker, and I am continuing my healthcare education. I believe healthcare is a human right, and that's why I got into the healthcare field. Healthcare to me is about helping and providing with care what they need. It is about making them happy, healthy, so they can live to their full potential.
Mm-hmm.
Since my brother Ricardo was young, he suffered from developmental challenges and faced a lot of bullying, which caused him trauma. Ricardo was diagnosed with schizophrenia in his 20s. All throughout Ricardo's life, our family didn't get the support we needed to navigate the healthcare system, nor were we made aware of the different services that were available for someone with his special needs. My brother Ricardo was a Medicaid recipient, and following his diagnosis of schizophrenia, we feel he didn't have the proper support from the healthcare system. Why wasn't he given an intensive care manager the moment he was diagnosed?
Yep.
Why does Lancaster, PA only have limited mental health services? And even though my community is limited in services, we're still losing more healthcare services. We lost St. Joseph Hospital early in 2019 when the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center decided to close the hospital because they felt it wasn't profitable enough, despite the fact the hospital was and is in need in our community. Ricardo lived just 7 blocks away from St. Joseph Hospital, and when UPMC closed the hospital, that limited where we could take Ricardo for care when he was in crisis. We had to take him away to Lebanon a few times for the crisis care, which is at least an hour away, because that was the closest crisis center, just for him to be triaged and sent home without receiving the proper care. He was once picked up by police and taken to LGH emergency room, and on that night they released him shortly after arriving at the hospital, and he was wandering around the city for several hours. The mental health care received by Penn Medicine is inadequate, to say the least. March 2019, the first full month St. Joe's Hospital was closed, the emergency room rose from an average of 59 per month to 30 to 308 in a month of March alone. The accidental death rate in Lancaster County nearly doubled because ambulances, diversions, and Penn Medicine also being severely over capacity. About a week before Ricardo was shot and killed by Lancaster City Police, the City Council voted in favor of UPMC, rezoning petition, and sealing the fate of St. Joseph Hospital. On September 13, 2020, Ricardo was experiencing a mental health crisis. I had called crisis intervention in Lebanon. They told me to call the police, and most likely my brother will be arrested. After that, I called the non-emergency number to ask what the proper procedure was, and they told me to call crisis intervention back. As I was doing that, the police arrived within moments. My brother was shot and killed by Lancaster City Police. Protests ensued following the police shooting of my brother, and the mayor spoke at the press conference the following day, talking about half Lancaster City being poor and the loss of mental health care services. But nowhere in her remarks or those of the city council members did we hear about their role in the loss in our community. Our family can't help but wonder, will Ricardo be alive today if St. Joseph Hospital was still open? How many of the 1,958 people in Lancaster County who died of COVID-19 will still be alive? We need to put a stop to hospital closures and the stripping away of healthcare services, especially mentally healthcare services. And we need to put an end to criminalizing poor people, people of color, people with mental health issues, and people with special needs. We are here today to demand our human right to healthcare.
Yes, yes. Woo, thank you.
Yes. Power.
Yes, yes. I think she did a great job. That was her first speech that she did. Yeah, I was I was blown away.
She
That
did
was relentless.
phenomenal.
Yes, that was relentless Munoz sharing her testimony at the Put People First PA South Central Healthcare Rights Committee action that took place at the Harrisburg Capitol here in Pennsylvania. Yeah, I shared the link actually to the Facebook page and the YouTube page for you all to check out. Give us one moment. We will be right back in about a minute to bring you some news. So stay tuned for that. Hey y'all, welcome back. We are going to get into some news real quick. This one is what you sent me, Meg. 2 people charged in assault on police following officer involved shooting in Rosedale. That is in Baltimore County. Let's get into it.
Breaking updates from Baltimore County, where police have filed serious charges, included attempted murder against a woman shot by an officer over the weekend. Alicia Page remains in the hospital after she was shot in the Rosedale area. This after she allegedly rammed her car into police cruisers after a confrontation with officers in White Marsh. One passenger who was in that car also facing charges. WJZ investigator Mike Helgren has some new video and he has some new reaction for us tonight. He is live in Rosedale. Mike.
Denise, police are not yet releasing the names of the officers involved, but we do know the suspects. 30-year-old Alicia Page appears to be the driver, and 31-year-old Kelly Anthony. Now, Page is charged with attempted first-degree murder. Both are being held without bond, and Page right now is still hospitalized but in police custody. New surveillance video WJZ obtained shows what may be the suspect's car traveling along Philadelphia Road Saturday night, with police not far behind. A short time later, police block off the road. They say the suspect rammed into a police cruiser and another vehicle before at least one officer shot her about a block away at the intersection with Rosedale Avenue. Jenny Wolf lives nearby.
That's horrible. I can't even comprehend something like that happening, not only to, the community, if anybody was out, but also to the police officers.
Police say it was all caught on the officers' body-worn cameras, and they did arrest a passenger in the suspect's car.
The vehicle was stopped initially, and they were able to get the suspect out of the passenger seat and place her under arrest. And shortly after she was out of the vehicle, that's when the driver began to just ram back and forth into the vehicles that were surrounding it.
Over the weekend, we spoke to a witness who says she heard a single gunshot. She asked us not to show her face. How fast would you say this was all happening?
Oh, too fast. I cannot, tell you, but she was like a bat out of hell, so like going up there. And the sad part, She didn't even swerve. Like, she just kept going straight on. And the policeman, I mean, even without like a hesitational thought, got into the car.
The chaotic scene began near White Marsh Mall, where police say the suspect struck an officer who was in uniform but off duty working security and dragged him. The violence has rallied people along.
429-69. She called the St. Petersburg Police Department and said that her son, Cody, C-O-D-Y, Kiley, K-I-L-E-Y, he's a white male, 9'4", Cody was threatening her with her gun. He at some point had retrieved her handgun, and he was threatening her with the gun. Also in the home is her four-year-old granddaughter. It is actually the daughter of Cody. At some point, she had retreated. She took her granddaughter and retreated to a back bathroom. And as she continued to provide updates to the St. Petersburg Police Department, officers arrived maybe 4 minutes later and tactically started to approach the home. At some point, Cody transitioned to the backyard. Officers could hear him in the backyard, and they tactically moved into the backyard and made contact with him. There was a number of officers, but one officer that I'll give you that was most involved in this, his name is Stephen. It's S-T-E-P-H-E-N. Last name is York, Y-O-R-K. He's a canine officer, and his canine is Loki, L-O-K-I. So as officers moved into the backyard, Officer York and canine Loki, they moved around to the front of the stack, and Cody is still armed with a handgun. Officer released Loki, and Loki engaged with Cody. Cody.
Meg, is this what you was talking about?
Knife in his hand. Knife in his hand.
Yeah, but
newly released body camera footage shows the moments leading up to the death of 24-year-old Christian Glass, who was shot and killed by police during what may have been a mental health crisis.
What were you gonna say, Meg?
anything with Baltimore Police Department, I feel like we definitely have to keep an eye on them because they're known for planting evidence.
Right, gotcha.
Mm-hmm. I wrote that officer's name down.
Gotcha.
On June 10th, Glass called 911 after crashing his car. He told dispatch he was stuck and needed help getting out.
Hello, 911.
I'm in a vehicle. My vehicle got stuck in a really bad way.
About 3 minutes into the call, Glass began referencing skinwalkers, which are witches in the Navajo culture.
Do you know what a skinwalker is now? They might just go by. I might be lucky.
Okay, can I get your date of birth real quick?
I'm so lucky. Oh, I'm so lucky.
At another point, Glass tells the 911 operator that she is his light after he's been frightened by a sound outside.
I had a spiritual awakening a few months ago and came out of my 10 years of depression, and I've just come, please help. That's not good sign. What's that beat? I love you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I love you, seriously. You're my light right now. I love you.
Glass later told dispatch he was an amateur geologist and had several weapons inside his vehicle.
Are there any weapons that you're aware of?
I have a weapon on me. I will throw them out the window as soon as an officer gets here. I have 2 knives and a hammer, and a rubber mallet. I guess that's a weapon. I'm not dangerous. I will keep my hands completely visible.
Both cars, be advised, this party is stating that he has weapons in the vehicle with him, 2 knives, a hammer, and a rubber mallet. He did state that he would throw them out of the window as soon as officers got on scene to make you feel safe.
Responders determined Glass's vehicle was stuck in Silver Plume, Colorado, about 50 minutes west of Denver. Officers from the Clear Creek County Sheriff's Office responded to the call.
Come out and talk to us. Come on, dude. We're here to help. We're here to help. Come on, bud.
For more than an hour, officers from multiple agencies attempted to get Glass out of the vehicle.
You need to step out of the car now. Step out of the car now. That's a lawful order. Step out of the car. You'll be removed from the vehicle. Step out now.
Wow.
For what?
Glass repeatedly told officers he was scared and did not want to exit his vehicle. At the same time, officers voiced concern about the weapons inside of the vehicle.
You already said you have weapons in the vehicle. Because you already said you have weapons in the car.
Oh my God. Really?
Do not touch them. Do not reach for them.
What the hell?
See right there. Step out.
Oh, he got his hands up.
161 that gun point. Step out of the car now.
Officers threatened to break down the window if Glass did not step outside.
For what the window's down, you dumbass.
Step out of the car.
I've had officers threaten to break my window down if I didn't.
Glass insisted he could not leave the vehicle and made mention of a mental hospital.
Keep your hands on the steering wheel then, and don't move. You reach for anything, we're gonna have problems.
Why they gotta cuss at him?
Right?
Does that make them more badass or what?
We haven't even been able to have a conversation with you.
During the incident, Colorado State Police said there was no reason to breach the vehicle.
If there's no crime and it's not suicidal, homicidal, or a great danger.
Wow.
He's not posing any danger.
Right.
There's no point in acting up to not harm to himself or anyone else, then no crime.
Meantime, officers continued to ask Glass to leave the vehicle, but he again stated he did not feel safe.
That's why I want you out of the car so we can have this
conversation. You see the tattoo? You see the tattoo?
No.
What are you talking about? And safely, period. That's it. This is the only way I can get on the knife.
A little bit more, I think.
That's why I want you out of the car.
Right there.
What is it?
I don't know. I thought gang related to the police gangs. Looks kind of sketchy. It looks like one of those. It looks like the ones they be posting about.
To the car so we can have this conversation safely. Period. That's it. This is the only way I can be safe. That's what I'm saying. What are you talking about?
When another officer approached and discussed the rocks inside of Glass's vehicle, he signaled her with a heart.
Hey, Christian, will you talk to me? What can you tell me about what's going on? We're trying to help you out. You know, I see you're doing the heart thing with your hands, but we love you too. We just want you to be safe.
Additional officers arrived and tried to calm Glass and persuade him to step outside.
Christian, you don't have any guns or anything that scares us, right? Okay. You said on the phone, you know when you called us? You said on the phone that you had knives.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, are they big knives, little knives?
Less than an hour later, Glass grabbed a knife when officers broke down his passenger side window.
All right, we're popping.
Okay, so they started this.
He's working. Knife in his hand. Knife in his hand. Watch crossfire. Watch crossfire.
Oh my God.
Watch crossfire. Watch crossfire. Trooper on me. On me. On me.
An officer then tased Glass after saying he refused to drop a knife.
Don't do it, Christian! Don't do it!
Oh my goodness.
Drop that knife!
Oh
Glass
my God.
began to yell out in prayer.
Christian,
please drop the knife! Randy, you got that door held shut?
How can he drop the knife if he's
Later,
being
an
tased?
officer shot Glass 5 times. After
What?
the Sioux Creek County Sheriff's Office released a statement saying Glass was argumentative and uncooperative during the incident. The release also said Glass tried to stab an officer.
Oh my God.
The vehicle's window.
He had done nothing wrong. He was just too scared to get out of his car.
Now, Glass's family is calling for criminal charges against
Good. Criminal
Why
charges.
are we not seeing his murder, but we're seeing black boys get murdered on the TV all the time? That's all I have to say. But I will make light of this in saying that I'm glad it's some rich, notable white boy that is getting murdered by the police in cold blood for no reason at all. So that maybe some light can be shed on this. But again, what's going to happen to black people that are getting, you know what I'm saying? Like questions on that note. However, that all of that aside, because I had to say that first, all of that aside, this is some fucked up shit.
The officer responsible for their son's death.
We have made no public statement before now. Christian's killing is a stain on Clear Creek County and on Colorado. It was a murder by a Colorado official.
In a press conference on Tuesday, Glass's parents, Sally and Simon Glass, called for justice in their son's death.
It was dark, and he was really worried. He trusted the police to come and help him. Instead, they attacked and killed him.
Where have these people been?
5 times.
Right.
Just to make sure.
Right.
Right now, the shooting is still under investigation by the Colorado Bureau of Investigation. For the latest developments in this story and all things true crime, stay with Law and Crime Network.
Like, there's so many ways I could dissect this. Like here, like what the fuck? If people feel sympathy for this shit, y'all need to feel sympathy for Jalen Walker too,
right?
And everybody else. Jonathan Lewis, exactly. That is my bone to pick with this shit. If this shit takes off, motherfuckers don't catch a case for me,
right?
However,
Jonathan Lewis, have we ever heard anything about if that officer was charged, Ricky Anderson?
No one's really said anything. However, my heart goes out to Christian Glass's family, and it's still the loss of a 22-year-old young man in his life that he's executed by police. This is what happens to us day in and day out. It just what happened to happen to a white family this time.
Right.
Nonetheless, it should be highlighted because we don't discriminate here. They're not discriminated against us. It just so happens to be that black people get it the most. So that is something we also have to highlight here, is that it does happen to white boys too. And there's other cases that it has happened as well. I think there's another story that you gave to me too. Body cam footage shows Waukegan police officer fatally shoot man wielding knife and a hammer. This is the same one, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't
know.
think
It can't be. This has to be
Body camera
different.
Video of an officer-involved shooting. This happened August 24th on Glen Court. Police say officers were responding to calls of a man who smashed his neighbor's windows and lit a fence on fire. When officers got there, they found the fence smoking. And as an officer ran up to the home with an extinguisher, he was met by a knife-wielding man who refused orders to stop.
Drop the knife!
Wow.
State police are now investigating.
Seriously? That's it?
Wow.
That's fucking it?
Yo, they are like ratchet as hell these days.
Marks the death of Queen Elizabeth II.
No,
Oh my God.
we're not doing that today.
Right, fuck the queen, respectfully.
Talk about it. All right, I'm gonna post the link to that in the comments as well, so y'all can check that quick video out because that was some shit. Yeah, I do have some things to do today. Meg, I know you got some stuff you need to do today. We just want to touch base with y'all, give y'all a little bit of info, catch y'all up with some current news and events. If you find any news and events you'd like to share, go ahead and drop them in the comments for us. If you'd like to contact us, you can hit up theleonblock.com. You can email us at theleonblock@gmail.com. You can text us at 484-909-0873. If you'd like to be on the show at any point, we will send you a link. Meg, you got anything you want to drop for the crowd tonight?
Power to or pain into power, love, and check on your neighbors. Just smile at them or something. Be nice.
Yeah, I dig that. I am going to give a little promo for y'all, a little something different to end the show with. Make sure you meditate on your path, celebrate your being, liberate your spirit, and educate yourself. I'm John Tell.
And I'm Meg.
Have a good one, y'all.
See ya.
I am here to feed my soul. I walk alone to ensure the energy can flow. And in this life and path and journey, control. I am living, thriving, breathing chi. Living, thriving, being free. Living, thriving, feeling me. When I say I'm hungry, I got nothing to lose. I've been hungry, you was just confused. Now it's clear this bruised and used dude is on cue. Set up my own table, ready to cook some gourmet food. I know, I feel the new coming through. Just gotta sit tight, make moves, and trust my process makes me new. Optimism, positivity, bright lights, high frequencies.